Okay, finishing up the 2025 NFL season previews. Today we're thinking big picture, although it is the day the NFL returns, the most important day of my life almost every year because it's 7 months of nothingness. But football gets me going. Let's start with the NFC. I think the Packers are going to be the one seed. I think it's going to come down to the end of the season between them and the Eagles. I think the Packers and the Eagles are the two most complete teams in the NFC, and really all football with the Ravens. I think that Micah Parsons addition is huge because I think Rashawn Gary. I thought he really broke out last year. I like Quay Walker. I like Wyatt on the D line. I like their offensive line. I think they might have one of the most underrated receiving rooms I've ever seen heading into a season, especially if Matthew Golden pays off. I like Watson when he's not run too fast and hurt himself. I like Jaden Reed. I like Romeo Dobbs. I thought at the end of last year, Wicks was pretty good. I like Josh Jacobs. I think that Jordan Love was more hurt, similar to I think Jalen Hurt was more hurt with the knees than people realized the year before because he was unbelievable down the stretch in 2023. I think it was 18 touchdowns and one interception last like 10 games of the season. I think that he's 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 gonna be one of the MVP finalists. They're a young roster too, so they have a large window. I think this is really the first year they get into it. I think the Eagles are going to win the NFC East. Um, I think the NFC South is going to come down to last couple weeks of the season between the Panthers and the Bucks. I really like the Panthers this year, especially with how Bryce Young finished last year. I liked Chuba Hubbard. Howard. Um, I did not like getting rid of Adam Thielen, but I still think I really like their defense too. Um, and I think Tampa's due for a regression. For the NFC West, I am going with the Rams. Unless Stafford's hurt miss a lot of the season, then it's the 49ers, despite how much I do not like the 49ers this year, with all they lost on defense, the injury issues that plagued them last year, and the guys that were hurt have had injuries in the past, like McCaffrey. If he's healthy, he's probably the second best running back in second or third best running back in football, with Barkley and Derrick Henry. I think that the wildcard teams are going to be the Lions, and then it's going to be the Panthers or Bucks, and then Rams 49ers. I know that's kind of cheating a bit, but I think there's really not many teams I can see making a wild card. I don't think. I think Washington's going to take a big step back. I think the toughness of their schedules going to be a lot more challenging for Jaden Daniels to development. I kind of would kind of compare it to how C.J. Stroud was last year after his stellar rookie year. I think there is going to be not as much progress as people would like to see, just based on the tougher schedule, playing a second place schedule rather than a last place schedule. Um, so I think it's going to be the Packers and the Eagles NFC Championship game, and I have the Eagles advancing to the Super Bowl. I just think that they're the best team in football. They're the most complete team. They're damn near elite at every level. And they have a tough regular season, which is why I don't have them as a top seed in terms of it's a tough schedule. But I think it doesn't matter because once they get to the playoffs, they're fine. And a lot of their toughest games are not the most important to me just because I believe in the roster that much. And I also believe they're going to win the division regardless. So it's mainly the road schedule on for the tougher schedule. It's the Chiefs on the road, it's the Bucks on the road. I don't mind that. Last year I know they were very dominant looking at time. I don't think that the schedule is going to allow that as much this year, but I still think they are going to dominate um, the mid-level teams and lower-level teams. And I think that Jalen Carter is going to be a Defensive Player of the Year finalist, along with Micah Parsons in the NFC. As far as the AFC goes, I think the one seed is going to be the Houston Texans. I absolutely love their roster. I love D'Amico Ryan's excellent leader. I mean, he was a captain, leader of that team as a player. He's obviously has a deep love for Houston and the organization. And I think CJ Stroud's going to be better than he was last year. I think he took a step back, which a lot of guys do after the rookie year, especially if they were as good as he was as a rookie. The running back position is not my favorite, um, but I love Nico Collins. I like the two receivers they got out of Iowa State, blanking on names, but um, I think all those three receivers are each going to have 1,000 yards this year, with Nico Collins potentially leading the league. I think comes down to their offensive line if they're even remotely close to average. They are going to win the division handily just because, uh, especially because of the weak division they play in. I think there is a legitimate chance that the other three teams have top five picks in next year's draft. I think the other division winners are going to be the Chiefs. I think they're really clear choice to me. I think the Broncos' schedule is much tougher this year. I'm not a big Bo Nix believer. I thought for a few years prior that Sean Payton kind of wasn't the coach he was with Drew Brees, and Bo Nix isn't Drew Brees. I do like that they extended Bonito, but I am not very confident. I mean, J.K. Dobbins needs to stay healthy. Defense is excellent, of course, but it's going to come down to Bo Nix, and I just don't see it. Also, I also think the Raiders are probably the second or third best team in the division, just because Pete Carroll. He gets the most out of his guys, no matter how talented. I think Jay Ajayi there, having Brock Bowers, who is already the best tight end in football, to the point where I actually think he's going to not just challenge the tight end single season receiving record. I think he's going to challenge the overall receiving yard record because he is ever since he took the field as a true freshman at Georgia, dominant. It was last year too. Nothing changed when he got to the NFL, and I think it's going to continue this year. I really do. I think Ajayi is going to win Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year. And I think Pete Carroll's going to be the Coach of the Year. Having Max Crosby helps too, but so the AFC East is one of my least favorite divisions that I can remember. I like a couple of the quarterbacks. Obviously, love Josh Allen. I'm really high on Drake May. I think he'll be great with Variable. I don't like Justin Fields. Don't really like Tua. So it really is fairly easy for me to say Bills here. And I think they're going to win it, I think, pretty handily. But I'm not as confident in that as I was the last 4 or 5 years. I think that there's going to be some games where they probably should win, but this year, when I don't think that's been seen much from the Bills the last few years. I think McDermott's on the hot seat. There's not many teams, I think, that really had a big improvement from last year to this year across football, really. So it's going to be I got Ravens 1 seed, and then division champions. I got Bills, um, Ravens obviously, Tex or wait, 1 seed's the Texans. My bad. Ravens AFC North champs and Chief. Yes, Chiefs, Ravens, Texans, Bills. Total brain fart. Last, my bad. Apologies. New to this. I think out of the AFC, it's going to be. I think in the AFC Championship game, it's going to be Texans versus the Chiefs. I think the Texans are going to be playing against the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I just think they're so talented at every level. I like their coaches. I like really everything about the Texans. I think Stingley could be the best corner in the league this year. I like Kamari Lassiter. I like Will Anderson Jr., Danielle Hunter, C.J. Gardner Johnson. Their improvement on defense is going to be massive, especially with C.J. Gardner Johnson. And I think Will Anderson Jr. is going to be the defensive player of the year, and he is going to have the greatest season ever by a pass rusher. I think that there's going to be several all-time records that get broken this year. I think Will Anderson not only breaks the single season sack record with at least 23, I think he also will break Derek Thomas's single game sack record with at least 7.5 sacks. I think he and Danielle Hunter are the best pass rushing duo in the league, and I just don't. I just don't think that teams are really going to be able to block Will Anderson. Last year, obviously, he took a big step year one to year two, but I think that it's going to be near unanimous decision. Will Anderson, Defensive Player of the Year. I think the minimum I have him for is 17 and a half sacks. He's going to have a big year. Make sure to bet it now because it's going to be a whole lot worse odds in a few weeks here. For the Super Bowl, I really, really want to take the Texans. However, I am from the Philadelphia area, and I don't want my mom to hate me. So I feel inclined to take the Eagles. Plus, I also do think they're the best team in the league. So there we go. Eagles Super Bowl champs. And I think Jalen Carter is going to be the Super Bowl MVP. I think he'll take over the game. Match up with the interior D line for the Texans. And while Willie Anderson Jr. is obviously going to have a big part of the Texans getting there, I just don't see him winning matchup consistently with either potential future Hall of Fame tackle for the Eagles. As far as the regular season awards, I love Jordan Love for this year's MVP. I don't think that the secondaries in the NFC North are that great. I think that with the receiving group he has, with the tight ends and Kraft and Musgraves, I love Jordan Love for this season, and I think last year was a fluke with the injuries he had, and that he's going to be closer to what he was at the end of 2023. Don't know the odds on that, but you're welcome. Think that the Offensive Player of the Year will be Jahmyr Gibbs. Not as high on the Lions this year, but I think he's explosive. I think that he could end up with somewhere around 20 touchdowns again. And if it's not him, I would probably say Jalen Hurts. Just combined, if it's passing game, rushing touchdowns, I think that he'll put up probably close to 40 total. So between those two, didn't want to pick a quarterback though. Offensive rookie year, obviously Ashton Genty. Defensive rookie of the year is going to be Abdul Carter. Just the comparison a lot of people had for him coming out was Von Miller, and I am adding this on top of it because if last year in the playoff with one arm he was dominating, and not only that is people were saying, "Oh, number 11 at Penn State, that kind of looks like Michael Parsons out there." Wrong, because Abdul Carter is much less raw as a rookie pass rusher heading into the NFL, as Michael Parsons was never really a full time pass rusher at Penn State. He never had that experience going against consistent reps at off the edge. And I think that Abdul Carter is going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year and break the all-time rookie record for a rookie in sacks. Is that good? Also, single game rookie sack record. I think this is the year of broken records. I think that Joe Burrow breaks the single season touchdown pass record. I think Jamar Chase breaks the single season reception touchdown record. And hell, maybe even both will get the same single game records against Ravens, perhaps. I don't know why. I never had this gut feeling before for so many records to be broken, but I am 99% sure that there's going to be at least 4 or 5 major records that have been around for over 20 that haven't been broken in a long time. So that's it for my preview. And, like, subscribe, talk some shit. I don't care.